So welcome to another video of Quality Reptiles. Today I'm gonna talk about how I hibernate my tegus. I also have Gila monsters and bearded lizards, and they also gonna be hibernating with them. So I'm gonna explain how I do everything. I've been hibernating tegus for 16 years, and of course I changed things a little bit over the years because I found out some things work better than other things, but it's always stayed a little bit the same. Of course my way is not the only way to do it, but I strongly believe that my way is a really good way to hibernate them. So at this moment we are at the point that we put all the tegus in boxes and move them to the hibernation room. The last 5 weeks we put the temperature down and we stopped feeding them and slowly getting them used to going into hibernation. The first week we stopped feeding. After that week, we put the lights go 3 hours shorter. So, for example, if you have 12 hours of light at a day, then you take 3 hours off, and in the next week you take also 3 hours off and go on till the lights are off at 4 weeks. And then the last week they are in the dark in their enclosure, and then I'm gonna move them from the dark enclosures into boxes. If it's getting really cold on the place where the terrarium is, then you can keep them inside the terrarium, but in the breeding facility here it's 23 degrees, so that's way too hot for them to go in hibernation. The boxes that we use are 60 to 40 centimeters, and they are filled with straw, like you can see. And they go in there, and then we close them off and they will be moved. There are some air holes in here and on the other side too, so they can still breathe inside. The boxes are completely dark, so there's no light coming through, and the hibernation room where they go in, it's also completely dark. So yeah. Of course it's a small box, so this is meant for medium size, normal size tegus, but I also have some tegus that are 1.5 meters long. They need a bigger box, so they get a box that's 2 times bigger than this one. So yeah, I'm gonna show you how we do this. So this is Beertje. Beertje, or Bear, is going into hibernation, and this is his hibernation box. It's a little bit bigger than the other boxes because he obviously is a lot bigger than the other tegus. He's 1.5 meters long, so he needs a little bit more space. In the box he has straw to go under and sleep, and I always check several times while in hibernation to look if he has an pseudomia, or if he has some fluids that he's losing, because if the straw is getting wet, then it's really a bad sign, and then it's better to take them out of hibernation because it can cause their death. This is Devil. Devil is a lot smaller, so he gets a smaller box. It's good for them to have not too much space, because in the wild they also have a burrow that is really small. The straw will go over him and he will sleep comfortably for a really long time. So it's some days later, and I slowly bringing the temperature down in the hibernation rooms. This one is the black and white hibernation room, and also it's for the Gila monsters. I had the temperature around 20 degrees when I started, and it's now 15.5 degrees. I will lower it even more in the next days to 12 degrees, and I will be checking on them every week, and every time I check another animal just to make sure that they are doing all right. The red tegus I have in an other hibernation room, because the black and whites, they need a temperature between 10 and 15 degrees. Of course, it must be a stable temperature, so if you choose 13 degrees, then you should keep it at 13 degrees, and it can fluctuate a little bit, like 1 Celsius degrees, but it must be slow and not going like up, down, up, down, up, down, because that will kill your tegu. But the red tegus I have at 18 to 19 degrees, and yeah, they cannot handle the cold as good as the black and white tegus can. So when I'm checking them, I touch them a little bit, and they start hissing. If the hissing sounds strange, like boiling water or something similar, then I know there is some problem with their lungs. In this case, I will take them out and slowly warm them up again. Slowly warming them up is not like weeks or something, but I do this in 24 to 48 hours. So if it's at night, then I'll take the box, put it in a normal room temperature room, and let the box slowly warm up. And then the next day I put them in their enclosure, and then I put on the hotspots and wait till temperature goes up, and then after that I will also turn the heating on, and this way they slowly warm up. And if you do this too fast, so you take them out, you put them in an enclosure that's already warm, then they can have problems with their organs, and they can die within some minutes or hours. So it's really important that you don't warm them too fast, because it will kill them for sure. Or they get organ damage, and you don't want that. When they, yeah, so that's how I wake them up also when the hibernation is done. And I will feed them after 1 week, and I start with something light, like chicken meat or something, and later on give bigger prey or other kinds of meat. But I always start with something like that to slowly get them started, and then a week later I start feeding them again, and then after that I'm feeding them every 2 times a week. So this is the hibernation room, and the top shelf are all Gila monsters, and these are all black and white tegus. The floor has floor heating, and that's also why I have them off the ground, so they are all on shelves. So the temperature in the box will be the temperature that is in the air, and if I would put the animals on the floor, then the boxes will get too warm, because the floor heating is heating them up. So, and if you have them in a cold area and you heating in any other way, then still you have to take them off the floor, because the floor can also be really cold, and it can make it much more colder in the boxes. So always put them off the floor, never on the floor. Let me show you one of them. This is a really old lady. She's 27 years old. And she's sleeping well. No response. That's good. If I touch her more, you see she moved a little bit, but she's already very far away in dreaming land. So that's one of the females. Here is a black and white male. He's laying more on top. Also doing well. And this is a black-nosed female. They are hard to open for me, but that's good because then it's also hard to open for them. And here is a black-nosed female. Already deep asleep. So, and here we have Gila monsters. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yes. And they are angry. Let's see. Also sleeping. Not really. She's very angry. That's my female, and that's a really old male. I'm sorry. So, a lot of people ask me, can they still breed if they miss one hibernation? The answer is yeah, they can still breed. They can even breed if they miss a lot of hibernations. The only problem is if you hibernate them after some years, it's harder for them to hibernate, I've noticed myself. But I've bred a lot of tegus that missed hibernations. I think almost all my tegus that I breed have missed at least one hibernation in their life. So yeah, that's a bullshit story that doesn't, it's not true. So the last thing I want to talk about is the blue tegu. I do not hibernate them, and I have a really good reason for that. In 2011, the first blue tegus were imported to Europe from Brazil. They were caught on the island Fernando de Noronha. This is an island near the coast of Brazil. On this island, and also in the parts of Brazil where blue tegus live, it's a very tropical climate. It's around 25 to 30 degrees all year around. So yeah, their bodies are not adapted to hibernation. In 2011, when 50 tegus were imported from there, people thought that they were buying black and white tegus, but they were blue tegus. So a lot of those people were hibernating their blue tegus, and they died in hibernation. So what I wanted to tell you is, please do not hibernate your blue tegus, because it can end really badly. So thank you for watching this video. Let me know in the comments if you have any more questions about hibernation. I will try to answer them all. And please like and subscribe, and then you will see me in the next video.